The hook. The battlefield was silent now, but the silence was not peaceful. It was the heavy silence that comes after death. Broken ships floated in the black sky. Fires burned slowly in the distance, and the air was filled with smoke and ash. The war between humans and aliens had turned this place into a graveyard. A human soldier moved carefully through the wreckage. His name was Captain Raylan, a man who had seen too many battles. His armor was scratched, his face was dirty with blood and dust, but his eyes were sharp. He was looking for survivors, even though deep inside, he knew there might be none. As he passed a half-destroyed wall, he heard something, a soft sound, weak but alive. He stopped, listening carefully. Again, the sound came, like someone breathing through a broken mask. Raylan followed the sound, pushing away metal and stone. And then he saw her, a figure lying on the ground, wearing strange armor that looked like it was made for war, but not from Earth. The helmet was cracked, sparks flickered inside the visor. Her chest moved slowly. She was alive, but only barely. Raylan hurried to her side. At first, he thought she was an alien soldier, one of the enemy, but something about her armor was different. Something about the way she clutched her chest made him stop and wonder. He reached for her helmet. If she was human, he had to help her breathe. If she was alien, then maybe this was his chance to take one alive. But as his hand touched the side of her helmet, her weak hand shot up and grabbed his wrist. Her grip was not strong, but it was desperate. Her voice came out broken, a whisper filled with pain. No, not after what they did. Raylan froze. Her voice was human, not the cold, sharp sound of the enemy. It was a woman's voice, trembling but real. He leaned closer. What do you mean? Who are you? He asked. But she only shook her head weakly, refusing to let him touch the helmet. The soldier's heart pounded. He had questions, too many questions. Why would a human wear alien armor? What did she mean by what they did? Her body shook as she tried to sit up, but she fell back. Raylan caught her before she hit the ground. He could feel her armor vibrating, almost like it was alive. The cracks on her helmet glowed faintly, like fire under glass. Raylan pulled her into the shadow of a broken wall. If there were alien scouts nearby, they would be searching for survivors. He checked his scanner. No signal yet, but he knew they would come. The battlefield never stayed quiet for long. The woman coughed, and he saw blood inside the helmet glass. Again, he tried to lift the helmet, but she grabbed his wrist once more. Her voice was sharp this time, even in her weakness. No, you cannot. Not after what they did to me. Her words echoed in his head. He wanted to argue, to demand answers, but the fear in her voice made him stop. Whatever she was hiding, it terrified her more than death itself. Raylan sat beside her, watching the dark sky above. Something deep inside told him this was not an accident. This woman was important. She knew something about the enemy that humans did not. He looked at her again. Her armor was scorched, her helmet cracked. But even through the damage, he could see symbols on the suit, alien symbols. Why would a human be wearing their armor? The woman's voice came again, softer this time. If you take it off, you will not trust me, and you will not trust yourself. Raylan felt cold. He was a soldier, trained to face death without fear. But this moment was different. Her words carried a weight, a secret too heavy for the silence of the battlefield. Far away, he heard the faint hum of engines. The enemy was coming back, searching. He had little time. Should he listen to her warning, or risk everything to see what she was hiding? The soldier's hand hovered over her helmet one last time. Her trembling voice whispered again, almost begging now. Please don't, not after what they did. Raylan pulled his hand back, not because he believed her fully, but because he saw something in her eyes. Through the cracked glass, just for a second, her eyes glowed faintly. Not like human eyes, not fully. Something had been done to her, something that made her more than human, and less. Raylan's breath caught in his throat. This was no normal survivor. This was a secret the enemy tried to bury in the ruins. And now she was in his hands. The engines in the sky grew louder. Time was running out. He tightened his grip on his weapon and looked at her. Whatever the truth was, it would change everything. But right now, all he could do was keep her alive and pray that her secret did not kill them both. The struggle. The ruins groaned as if the battlefield itself was alive. Twisted metal shifted in the wind, and sparks danced across broken walls. Raylan dragged the woman into the shell of a fallen shuttle, the only cover left in this wasteland. His chest burned from smoke, but his mind burned even more from questions. She lay on the floor, coughing through the broken helmet. Her breath rattled, heavy, but her hands, shaking as they were, still clung to the sides of her helmet, protecting it as if it was more important than her life. Raylan knelt beside her, pulling a small light from his belt. The glow revealed her armor. Now that he could look closer, he saw it was fused in places, melted into her skin like fire had burned through flesh and metal at the same time. The sight made him flinch. No human should have survived wounds like that. "You need help?" he whispered. "If I don't open the helmet, you'll die." Her voice came weak but fierce. "Better to die than for you to see what I have become." Raylan clenched his jaw. He was trained to keep control, but her words twisted his stomach. He wasn't sure if he was afraid for her, or of her. Outside, the hum of alien drones grew louder. Their blue lights swept across the ruins like hunters searching for prey. Raylan peeked through a crack in the shuttle wall. One drone floated just meters away, its claws clicking as it scanned the ground. He pulled back, heart racing. If they found her, they would kill her, and maybe him too. But why did they want her gone so badly? The woman stirred, her voice trembling. "They're not hunting humans. They're hunting me." Raylan stared at her. "How do you know that?" Her helmet turned slowly toward him, the cracked glass glowing faintly. "Because they made me," she said, "and they fear what I am now." Raylan's chest tightened. The words made no sense, yet the way she spoke them, like confession and curse, made him believe. He wanted to ask more, but the drone's shadow passed over the shuttle. They had no time. He pulled her close, holding a hand over her chest to muffle her breathing. The drone's sensors swept across the opening, pausing for a moment that felt like eternity. Raylan's finger twitched on the trigger of his rifle. One wrong sound, and they were dead. Finally, the drone drifted away. Raylan exhaled slowly, the tension breaking like glass. But the woman's body shook harder now. Her armor pulsed faintly, almost alive. Her voice came again, barely a whisper. "You should not have saved me. They will not stop now. Not until I am gone." Raylan grabbed her shoulder, shaking her. "Listen to me," he said sharply. "I don't care what they did to you. You're still human, you're still alive, and I won't leave you here." For the first time, she turned her head fully toward him. Through the cracked glass, her eyes glimmered faintly, half human, half something else. "You don't understand," she said, her voice breaking. "They didn't only change my body, they put something inside me, something I can't control." Raylan froze. Her words rang louder than the drone's engines. Something inside her? A weapon? A parasite? He didn't know, but before he could ask, the ground shook. A bright beam cut through the ruins. An alien walker had landed nearby. Its searchlights swept across the battlefield, and the air trembled with its heavy steps. Raylan cursed under his breath. If they stayed, they'd be crushed. If they ran, they'd be seen. He looked at her. Her body shook like a fever had consumed her, her armor glowing faint lines through the cracks. And then he noticed her hands. Her fingers had pressed so hard into the shuttle floor that the metal had bent beneath them. His heart stopped. That was not human strength, not even close. She saw his expression and whispered, "Now you see why I can't let you take it off." Raylan stepped back, his rifle trembling in his hands. He didn't want to point it at her, but his instincts screamed danger. Her glowing eyes, the bent metal, the alien symbols on her armor. It was too much. But then, her voice broke the silence again. "Please," she said softly, almost begging. "I did not choose this. They forced me. But if you kill me now, Everything humanity has left will die with me. Raylan's breath shook. Her words were madness. Yet his gut told him she was speaking the truth. The aliens weren't just fighting a war. They were experimenting, twisting humans into something else. And she was proof. The walker's steps grew closer, shaking the ground beneath them. Dust fell from the shuttle ceiling. The walls cracked further. Time was running out. Raylan gritted his teeth. He could run and save himself. Or he could trust the woman who might not be fully human anymore. Her glowing eyes locked onto his. "Choose," she whispered. "Leave me or help me. But if you help me, you must never remove this helmet." The words struck him like a blade. It wasn't just her secret. It was a choice that would decide the fate of both of them. Outside, the walker's lights fell across the shuttle. The moment of decision had come, and Raylan's finger tightened on his rifle, torn between fear and trust. The battlefield held its breath, and the struggle inside him burned louder than the war outside. The secret, the walker's heavy steps faded into the distance, but Raylan's heart still pounded like a drum. He stayed low in the broken shuttle, rifle tight in his grip, his eyes locked on the woman lying before him. Her body shook, her armor cracked, and the faint glow from her helmet pulsed like a heartbeat. She looked weak, yet at the same time terrifying. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Only the hiss of fire and the faraway echo of alien engines filled the silence. Finally, Raylan broke it, his voice sharp. "You going to tell me what they did?" The woman turned her head slowly, her glowing eyes catching the light. "You wouldn't believe me," she whispered. Her words carried both pain and warning. But Raylan leaned closer, his tone cold. "Try me." Her breathing was rough, each word a struggle. "They took me, not to kill me, but to change me." Her voice cracked, and her hands tightened against her chest. They wanted to see if a human could survive their experiments. Raylan's stomach twisted. He had heard rumors, whispers among soldiers of humans taken alive, but most dismissed them as fear stories. Seeing her now, he knew the rumors were true. "They cut me open," she said softly, her voice shaking. "They pulled my blood apart, tested it, broke it, and filled me with their machines." She tapped her chest weakly, and Raylan saw the faint lines of blue running under her skin, glowing through the cracks of her armor. They wanted a soldier who could not die, a body that would heal faster, fight harder, obey them without question. Raylan's throat went dry. "You're saying you're part machine now?" Her helmet tilted toward him. "Not machine, not human, something in between," she whispered. "The kind of thing you fear when you close your eyes at night." Raylan tightened his grip on his rifle. Her words sent a chill crawling down his spine. But there was something else in her voice, something human, desperate, begging to be believed. He asked, "Then why are you here? Why didn't they keep you?" Her breathing slowed, and for a moment she said nothing. Finally, she whispered, "I escaped." The word hung in the air like a blade. Escaped? From the enemy? No one escaped them. Raylan shook his head. "No, they would never let you go." But she answered firmly, even in her weakness. "They didn't let me go. I killed them." Her voice was sharp, filled with fire. Raylan stared at her. "You killed them? How many?" Her hands trembled. "All of them in the lab," she said. "I don't know how many. I don't even remember. My body moved on its own, faster than my mind, stronger than my will." Her voice broke. "When it was over, the floor was red, and I was the only one left standing." Raylan felt a weight in his chest. Part of him wanted to feel pity, but another part whispered fear. This woman wasn't just a survivor. She was a weapon made by the enemy, and now loose on the battlefield. She turned her head toward him again, her glowing eyes piercing his. "Do you see now? If you remove this helmet, if you look at my face, you won't see a human anymore." Raylan clenched his jaw. He wanted to argue, to tell her she was wrong. But deep down, he wasn't sure. He remembered the way she bent metal with her bare hands, the way her armor pulsed like a living thing. If her face looked anything like the rest of her, maybe she was right. Her voice softened, trembling with pain. They made me into a monster, but I still fight for humans because I was one once, and maybe I still am. She paused. But if you take this helmet off, you will see only the monster, not the woman. The silence between them grew heavy. Raylan lowered his rifle slightly, but his eyes never left her. "You're asking me to trust you without proof," he said. Her answer was quiet, but strong. "I'm asking you to trust me, because if you don't, humanity will lose more than just this war." Raylan's breath slowed, his mind torn in a storm of doubt. She might be lying, a trick from the enemy, or she might be the only hope humans had left. The thought made his skin crawl. Suddenly, a sound broke through the silence, static, whispering voices on her comms. Raylan froze. The voices were alien, hissing words he didn't understand, but they repeated over and over, urgent and sharp. Her armor glowed brighter, reacting to the sound. She clenched her fists and screamed, her body shaking violently. Raylan grabbed her shoulders. "What's happening?" he shouted. Through the broken helmet, her glowing eyes widened in terror. "They're calling me back," she cried. "And if they find me, they'll finish what they started." Her body convulsed, her armor pulsing like a living heart. Raylan held her down, fighting to keep her still. For the first time since the war began, he felt true fear. Not fear of dying, fear of the secret lying beneath that helmet, and fear of what would happen if the enemy reached her first. The enemy closes in. The static in her helmet finally faded, but the silence that followed was worse. Raylan crouched low, one hand gripping his rifle, the other still pressed against her shoulder. Her body had stopped shaking, yet the faint glow under her armor pulsed with every breath. She was calm for now, but it felt like calm before a storm. Outside, the sound of engines grew louder. Not one drone this time, but many. Their metallic hum echoed across the ruins, sharp and cold. Blue lights swept the battlefield, moving in patterns too precise to be random. They were hunting, and the hunt was closing in. Raylan peered through a crack in the shuttle wall. 5 drones floated in the air, their clawed arms twitching. Behind them, the towering walker returned, its legs grinding against broken stone. Its head-mounted scanner sent out beams that lit the night like lightning. The woman stirred, her weak voice rasping through the cracked helmet. "They know. They smell me. They always know." Raylan turned sharply. "Quiet," he whispered, but her words chilled him. Smell? Did she mean literally? Could they track her like an animal? She curled tighter, hands pressed against her chest. Her body trembled again, armor pulsing brighter. Her voice came out broken. "They put a signal inside me, a mark. They will never stop until I am gone." Raylan's stomach twisted. A signal, a beacon. Was that why the drones kept circling back? If she was right, then she wasn't just in danger. He was too. One of the drones drifted closer. Its blue light swept across the shuttle's broken frame. Raylan ducked lower, his breath shallow. He could hear the sharp click of its sensors, the whir of its claws. Any second now it would find them. The woman's body stiffened, her voice trembling. "They're near. I can feel them inside my head." Raylan pressed a finger to his lips. "Not a sound," he mouthed, but her hands clenched the floor, the metal bending under her grip. Her breathing grew louder, faster. Her armor lit up faint blue lines that matched the drone's scanning beam. Raylan cursed under his breath. If she didn't calm down, they'd both be dead. The drone hovered just outside the opening. Its light passed over the woman's glowing armor. It paused, sensors clicking louder. Raylan raised his rifle slowly, his muscles screaming to fire. Before he could, the woman whispered, "No, let me." Her eyes flared with sudden light. She raised her hand, trembling but fierce. For a second, Raylan thought she was too weak. Then the drone jerked in midair. Its blue light flickered, its claws froze. And with a sharp crack, the machine twisted violently, metal folding in on itself. It dropped to the ground like broken glass. Raylan stared, shocked. She hadn't touched it, but it had fallen, crushed by something unseen. Her head fell back, breathing ragged. "That's why they fear me," she whispered. Her voice was both proud and broken. "I can kill their machines with only thought, but each time, it burns me inside." Raylan's mind raced. If she could do that, she wasn't just a weapon. She was a threat the aliens couldn't afford to lose. No wonder they hunted her. But there was no time to think. The walker roared, its scanners flashing red. The other drones spun toward the sound of their fallen comrade, their lights cutting across the ruins. They had been found. Raylan grabbed her arm. "We move now," he hissed, pulling her up. Her legs barely worked, her body heavy like stone. But together they stumbled out the back of the shuttle, into the smoke-filled night. The ground shook with every step of the walker. Its massive shadow rose behind them, its searchlight sweeping like the gaze of a god. The drones zipped overhead, their metallic shrieks filling the air. Raylan pulled her into the cover of a collapsed tower. His breath came fast. They couldn't run forever. She was too weak, and the machines were too many. The woman's voice broke through his thoughts. "You don't understand. The closer they come, the stronger the pull. If they capture me, I won't fight them. I won't even be me." Raylan turned to her sharply. "What do you mean?" Her glowing eyes locked onto his, filled with terror. "They put something inside my mind, a command I can't refuse. If they say the word, I'll obey, no matter what." Raylan felt the blood drain from his face. Not only was she a weapon, they held the trigger. If they got her back, she wouldn't just be lost. She'd be turned against him, against humanity. A shriek tore the night. The walker's beam swept over their hiding place, cutting through the smoke. Raylan raised his rifle, jaw clenched. No more hiding, no more time. Beside him, the woman's armor glowed brighter than ever. Her body shook violently, as if fighting two battles, one against the enemy outside and one against the voice inside her. Her voice came out as a broken cry. "Raylan, if they catch me, don't let them take me. Promise me you'll end it." The words hit him like a blade. His rifle felt heavier in his hands. "End it? Kill her?" He wanted to argue, to tell her no. But the red light of the walker swept closer, and the scream of drones filled the air. Raylan's finger tightened on the trigger. The enemy was here, closing in, and the choice she asked for might come sooner than he ever wanted. The night trembled, and the hunt had truly begun. The reveal, half-truth. The ruins shook as the walker's heavy steps drew closer. The night burned red from its scanner beams, while the drones screeched above, circling like vultures. Raylan pressed his back against the broken wall, gripping his rifle, his breath shallow. Beside him, the woman trembled, her armor glowing brighter with every passing second. "Stay down," he whispered, but she shook her head slowly. "They'll never stop unless I stop them." Before he could stop her, she pushed herself forward, her weak body dragging across the dirt. Raylan grabbed her arm, his voice sharp. "You can't fight them. You'll get yourself killed." Her glowing eyes turned toward him. "I'm already dead," she whispered, and then she stood. It wasn't the shaky rise of a wounded soldier. It was sudden, sharp, unnatural. Her armor pulsed with light, lines spreading across her body like veins of fire. The broken helmet glowed, cracks lighting up with a strange blue-white hue. The drones spotted her instantly, their shrieks piercing the night. 5 of them descended, claws sparking, weapons charging. Raylan raised his rifle, ready to cover her. But before he could fire, she lifted her hand. The air rippled, a low hum filling the ruins. And then, as if crushed by an invisible fist, the first drone snapped in half. Its pieces scattered across the ground in sparks. Raylan froze, stunned. She didn't touch it. She didn't even move, yet the machine was gone. Her hand turned slightly, and another drone twisted violently in the air. Its claws bent inward, its lights shattered, and it fell, silent and broken. The remaining drones screamed louder, firing beams of plasma. But she didn't flinch. Her armor lit brighter, forming a faint shield of energy that bent the beams away. She raised both hands now, and with a sharp cry, the drones folded one after another, crashing into the ground like crushed insects. Raylan's rifle lowered slowly. His mouth went dry. This wasn't a soldier. This was something else. But the display wasn't over. The walker stomped closer, its massive cannon aiming down at her. The air shook with its charge, the ground glowing with fire beneath its feet. Raylan shouted, "Get back! You can't fight that thing!" But she didn't move. Instead, she planted her feet in the dirt. Her voice echoed through the cracked helmet, filled with anger and pain. "They made me their weapon, but I choose who I kill." She thrust her hands forward, and the walker shuddered violently. Metal groaned as its massive legs bent inward, joints snapping. The machine let out a mechanical roar, stumbling like a wounded beast. She screamed, pushing harder, and with a deafening crash, the walker collapsed onto its side, exploding in sparks and fire. The battlefield went silent. Raylan stared, his chest tight, his breath lost. He had seen tanks fall, ships burn, soldiers die, but never this. One broken woman had destroyed machines built to end armies. She staggered, her knees buckling. Raylan rushed forward, catching her before she fell. Her body shook violently, smoke rising from her armor. Her voice was weak, trembling. "You see now what they did to me." Raylan's hands tightened around her arms. "You shouldn't be alive after that," he muttered. Her glowing eyes met his. "I'm not alive," she whispered. "Not fully." The words cut through him. She wasn't lying. He could see it, feel it. Her body wasn't just human anymore. It was something mixed, something unnatural. Still, questions burned inside him. He asked, "Then why fight for us? If they made you, why not turn against us?" She closed her eyes, her voice almost a sigh. "Because before they broke me, before they turned me into this, I was human, and I still remember what it feels like to be one." Her hand gripped his armor weakly. "And because if they win, what they did to me, they will do to every human left alive." Raylan's chest tightened. He didn't want to believe her. He wanted to think she was exaggerating. But the fear in her voice was too real. Her helmet flickered with sparks again, the cracks spreading wider. Raylan reached out instinctively, but she pulled away. "No," she said firmly. "You cannot see, not yet." The fire from the walker burned in the distance, smoke rising into the night. Raylan stared at her glowing figure, caught between awe and fear. She was a savior and a curse in the same breath, and he didn't know which one would kill him first. Suddenly, her body went limp, her glow fading. Raylan caught her, pulling her against his chest. Her voice came faint, almost lost in the sound of crackling fire. "They'll come again stronger, because now they know I'm free." Her last words sent a chill through him. Free. Not human, not machine, something in between, and that secret was only half told. Raylan looked at the ruins around them, the smoke, the fire, the silence. He realized this wasn't just a fight for survival anymore. It was the beginning of something larger, something that could decide the future of humanity itself. And the woman in his arms was both the weapon to win it and the threat that could end it. The choice. The fire from the fallen walker still burned, painting the ruins in red and orange. Smoke rose into the night sky, like a warning to all who could see. Raylan stood among the rubble, his rifle heavy in his hands, his eyes locked on the woman lying weak against the stones. She had saved him, saved both of them, by destroying the enemy machines. Yet his chest felt tight, not with gratitude, but with fear. What kind of human could bend steel with a thought? What kind of human could crush machines with only her mind? Her cracked helmet flickered faint sparks. Through the broken glass, her glowing eyes searched his face. She could barely breathe, but her voice still carried weight. "You saw what I am now," she whispered. "You know the truth. And now you must choose." Raylan clenched his jaw. His finger twitched near the trigger of his rifle. Every instinct told him to end this before it grew worse. If she was truly under alien control, she could be turned against humanity at any moment. But another part of him, the part that still remembered her saving his life, whispered to hold on. He stepped closer, his voice sharp. Tell me why. Why shouldn't I put a bullet in you right now? She didn't flinch. Her weak hands rested against her chest, but her gaze never wavered. Because if you kill me, humanity loses its only chance to survive. Raylan's breath caught. He wanted to dismiss her words as lies, but the conviction in her voice made it impossible. What chance? He demanded. What makes you so different from them? Her voice cracked. Because I know their secrets. I carry them inside me. Their code, their machines, their language, it's all in my blood now. She tapped her chest weakly. If you let me live, I can fight them in ways no human ever could. Raylan shook his head. Or you could be their spy, their weapon planted among us. His rifle rose slightly, his voice a growl. How do I know you won't turn the moment they say their command? Her glowing eyes dimmed with pain. You don't, she admitted softly. That's why this choice is yours. Kill me now, and you'll never have to wonder. Trust me, and you'll have to live with doubt every moment I breathe. The words cut deep. Raylan's chest tightened. She wasn't begging. She wasn't even defending herself. She was giving him the choice, and that made it worse. The ruins around them shook again. Faint thunder in the distance. More enemy machines were coming. He could already hear the faint hum of their engines on the horizon. He glanced down at her, her body trembling, her armor cracked and smoking. She looked fragile now, broken, almost human again, but he had seen the power she carried, the storm hidden beneath her skin. His rifle stayed, aimed at her chest. Sweat dripped down his forehead, his breath shallow. Every second he delayed was another second closer to death. Yet he couldn't pull the trigger. Her voice broke the silence again, faint but steady. If you trust me, I'll fight with you until my last breath. If you don't, end it now, before it's too late. Raylan's finger pressed against the trigger. He could end it here, in the danger, but his mind flashed back, her destroying the drones, the walker, saving him when she had no reason to. If she wanted him dead, she could have killed him already. He lowered the rifle just slightly, but his voice was sharp. If I trust you, you give me everything. No more secrets. No more lies. You tell me exactly what they did to you and why you're so important to them. She exhaled shakily, relief flickering in her eyes. I will, she whispered, but not here. Not while they're still hunting. I need time, and you need to be ready for the truth. Raylan stared at her, his chest heavy with doubt. He had made his choice for now, but the fear still clung to him. The fear that his trust might cost humanity everything. In the distance, the hum of machines grew louder, closer. Raylan pulled her up, slinging her weak body against his shoulder. We move, he said, his voice hard. If I regret this, it'll be the last mistake I make. Her faint reply drifted through the night. Then don't regret it. Make it the first step to winning. They stumbled forward together, leaving the fire of the walker behind. The ruins groaned as alien engines filled the night. The choice was made, but the true weight of it had only begun. The cliffhanger ending. The ruins trembled as the night filled with the sound of engines. Alien machines swarmed closer, their lights cutting through the smoke like cold stars. Raylan moved quickly, dragging the woman across the broken ground, her weight heavy against his shoulder. Her armor sparked with every step, cracks spreading further. The faint glow inside her helmet pulsed faster, brighter. It was like carrying a dying fire that refused to go out. Stay with me, Raylan muttered, his voice tight, but she barely answered, her breath shallow. The glow from her eyes flickered, fading, returning, fading again. Behind them, a drone screeched, its claws tearing through rubble. Raylan spun, firing a burst from his rifle. The rounds tore through its sensors, dropping it in sparks. But three more came right after, buzzing like hornets. Raylan cursed, dragging her behind a fallen wall. We can't run much longer, he said through clenched teeth. The woman stirred weakly. You should leave me. I'll only slow you down. He snapped at her. Not a chance. If I leave you, humanity loses whatever hope you're carrying. Her faint smile glimmered through the cracked helmet. Or you doom them by keeping me alive, she whispered. Her words cut deep, but Raylan ignored them. The ground shook violently. From the smoke ahead, a massive shadow rose. A new machine, larger than the walker, its steps like thunder. Its scanners swept the ruins in blinding light. And behind it, soldiers poured out, armored, armed, moving in perfect alien formation. Raylan's chest tightened. This wasn't a hunt anymore. It was a war party, and they had come for one target. Her. The woman's body trembled harder, her armor glowing uncontrollably now. The light from the cracks spread across her suit like rivers of fire. Her voice came sharp, filled with both fear and fury. They're calling me again. They want to take me back. Raylan gripped her shoulders, shaking her. Fight it, he barked. Her glowing eyes widened. I can't. If they say the word, I'll obey. The air crackled. Through the comms in her helmet, alien whispers returned. Harsh, sharp, commanding. Her body stiffened instantly, her head jerking back. Her hands clenched into fists as if pulled by invisible strings. Raylan shouted, No, don't listen to them. But she screamed, her voice raw with pain. I can't stop it. The drones closed in, forming a circle, their lights flashing. The massive machine raised its cannon, but it didn't fire. They weren't here to kill. They were here to capture. Raylan raised his rifle, firing wildly at the drones. One fell, another staggered, but more swarmed in. He felt the cold grip of hopelessness creeping in. Then, suddenly, her armor flared like a star. A wave of energy burst out, slamming into the machines. Drones spun violently, crashing into ruins, soldiers thrown back like rag dolls. The massive walker staggered, but didn't fall. Raylan shielded his face from the blast. When the light dimmed, he looked at her in shock. She was standing now, tall, her cracked helmet glowing bright white. Her voice echoed, not just human, but something deeper, louder. I am not yours anymore, she cried, her words shaking the battlefield. The aliens hissed, their voices rising in rage. The comms inside her helmet screamed. Her body shook violently, sparks bursting from her suit. And then it happened. The cracks in her helmet spread all the way down. A piece of glass fell away, smoke escaping from inside. Raylan froze, staring. For the first time, he saw more than her glowing eyes. He saw skin that wasn't fully human anymore, veins glowing like blue fire beneath pale flesh. Her cheeks shimmered with lines of metal fused with blood. Her face was half woman, half machine, half something else. Raylan's chest tightened, his rifle shaking in his hands. The sight was both terrifying and heartbreaking. She turned to him slowly, her exposed eye flickering between human brown and alien blue. Her voice cracked. Now you see why I told you not to look. Raylan's breath caught in his throat. The choice he had made, to trust her, suddenly felt like standing at the edge of a cliff. He wanted to believe she was still human, but staring at her now, he wasn't sure if she was human at all. The alien machines roared, preparing to strike again. Raylan raised his rifle, his heart racing. Beside him, the woman's glowing half-face turned back toward the enemy, her body trembling with power and pain. Her final words before the next assault sent ice through his veins. If I lose control, you must end me. The massive walker charged its cannon, the ground shaking. Her body glowed brighter than ever, her cracked helmet shattering piece by piece. Raylan's finger tightened on the trigger, caught between killing her or fighting beside her. The battlefield held its breath, and then the screen went black.